say you were meeting another potential person that was considering starting training and asked you about ToShin Do and why it might be the right approach for them, would you have anything that you would say to sort of influence their decision?
Yeah, I would definitely say that kind of the cool thing to me about ToShin Do is the people involved in it. In the early 80s, we had some really strange cats that were there, especially in Europe.
I would be remiss without asking for a few examples.
Yeah, so in Europe, there was one individual that was actually insane.
Okay.
He was on full disability by the German government, and they were paying for him to come train in ninjutsu. And he was a little uncomfortable to train with because you didn't know, is this guy going to snap? And then there was, like we said, we had a GSG9 guy. This is a guy going after terrorists all the way back there in the 80s. I mean, this was a problem set and very serious cats. Some really good people, but what I've really resonated when I came up to North Carolina Quest Center back in the late 90s was, wow, these are all good people that are successful. So I would really share that, hey, if you're going to start your martial art journey, being surrounded by successful people, probably going to help you find success, where you're not going to be competing like you may in other schools with people that really don't want to see you succeed, because for some reason they're living in a world where there lacks abundance, where if you get promoted, I can't get promoted is kind of the thought process. But ToShin Do is a family, and it will help you grow.
If you were able to go back and speak to brand new to training white belt Ian, would you give him any particular advice?
Slow down. Don't be so reckless. That's really the piece I would say in hindsight is there's things you're doing that's going to impact you later. Slow it down. You're not immortal. Kind of in the 80s, and when I say slow down, it's not don't worry about the promotions. No, those just didn't happen back in the 80s. You just trained to train, and one day you got lucky and somebody, hey, you're looking pretty good, here you go. Oh, okay. Don't know what it means, but that's okay. I must be progressing. But I think the big thing is and people can misunderstand when they hear some of the old timers talking and reminiscing. We're reminiscing about how we survived the stupidity that we did to ourselves. Not that we want to do it that way. Not that we think anybody else should do it. So I'd go back to that young guy and say, slow it down. Slow it down. Really, really let it simmer. You've got time.
Anything else in regards to like maintaining longevity in training? Anything that you've learned that has helped you continue to train, or things that you again would do different?
Yeah, I think it's really about knowing your limitations and not being thick-skulled. As an older guy, we can get thick-skulled. I'm kind of from an older age where we don't want to recognize that, hey, body's changing. And you've really got to let it go. And that's what I love about the curriculum. It's a pathway that helps you learn to let go and transform. You're not changing anything about yourself, but you're learning to transform yourself and see new possibilities of doing things in a way that will facilitate your success and longevity. I don't have to continue. I don't have to get stronger. I don't have to be faster. Yeah, all those things are aging out of me now. So I think that's really, for me, what I'm seeing is just continued growth.
Is there anything that you would love to see for the future of ToShin Do?
Yeah, I think for me, as a guy that's been part of organizations all my life, from the military to the federal government, what I want to see is that we become an organization. And I know that may sound crazy, but most martial arts is a conglomeration of schools that agree to kind of be together. But when I say I want to see us become an organization, that's something that can withstand the sands of time. When Anshu is moved on to his next journey, whatever that looks like, that we have unity amongst all the seniors and all the students, that there's a common goal that we want to continue to share the beauty of what Anshu has created. That's really, for me, the only thing I care about at this juncture of my training, is that this doesn't fragment like so many organizations can do, and that becomes a strong organization taking this message forward, because people may not need it at this level today, but human history shows it'll be needed later. And I don't want this knowledge lost. This is a gift that he found and brought back from what was almost on the verge of extinction back when he started in the 70s.
I don't want to pigeonhole you at this point, but if you could sort of say, I wish this would be your legacy that you would leave to ToShin Do now, what do you think, like, you could present or leave to them? Not again that you're done growing or done progressing and contributing, but what do you think, like, at this point, your legacy would be, given what you teach?
What I really hope is that I could impart kind of the joy of freedom that I experienced in the 80s, where there wasn't really this rank system. Yeah, it was starting, but it wasn't known. There wasn't this pathway. Anshu had this pathway in his head, but it wasn't written down for other people to go, okay, this is the thing. And for me, if I could help share that legacy, create a legacy that people are coming in and they're having experiential learning and not getting tied into, let me do the thing. And what I mean by that is, don't get wrapped up in the kata. It's a way to memorize, in my opinion. It's just like when you're working with your son teaching the ABCs. You make it a song so he can remember the sequence. To me, that's what the kata is.
Okay.
But I think that we can default too easily, and I've fallen victim to this over the decades of, just do the kata. No, the kata is the song to remember, the pieces that were the lesson. So if I could help people find the lesson and unlock that power, that's really what I want to share with people. And that's a frustrating way to learn, I know, because you don't get to memorize something. You have to have experiential, intuition-driven learning.
Well, if people wanted to find you, train with you, ask you questions about your experience, where would somebody find you? How would they get in touch with you?
So the easiest way to get in touch with me is through the Boulder Quest Center. You can go to boulderquest.com, hit up an email via that way. You could reach me at I am Hyotoshi Pucek on Facebook, and just directly contact me. My phone number is on there.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to take phone calls and talk. If I'm busy, I let people know.
Fair enough.
But I mean, this is what I love doing. I'm retired now. This is my thing.
Awesome.
Been an interesting journey.
I believe it. Well, I can't say thank you enough for spending time with us and answering questions. And to everybody out there watching, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for even more of these interviews coming up. Ninja every day.